Thank you for joining me again today for part two of my interview with Stephen Shoge. And just a reminder that Stephen is going to be with us this coming Sunday. We'll introduce you to him and show a video of his ministry, and then he'll be available to talk to you. In today's interview, we're going to learn what the connection is between skateboarding and the Great Commission. Eventually, you end up in Lynchburg, Virginia area. How did that happen?
Yeah, so I ended up, after I graduated from college, my friend told me to work at this summer camp in Northern Maryland. They have a skateboarding section, and it's a Christian summer camp. So I spent the summer in Maryland talking to kids about God and skateboarding. And
Cool.
I was like, this is a dream. This is a dream job. If I could do this for the rest of my life, I would. And it just so happened that a counselor that was there at the camp was named Jocelyn. And I wasn't expecting to stay. I was planning to go back to Missouri. But then I decided to stay and do the internship in between summers, Yeah. So we started dating. She was going to Liberty at the time.
Okay.
And so when we got to that point where we knew we wanted to end up together, she was like, there's always jobs at Liberty. So I applied and got a job. We got married, got an apartment together, and
Cool. So, all right. So Lynchburg, Virginia is a whole different world than Worcester, Massachusetts. All right.
yes,
So
it
how in the
is.
world did you end up here?
Yeah, so we were going to a church there in Lynchburg. There was a guy named Kevin McGinn. He's from the Worcester area. So he was there in Lynchburg. He brought up to the leadership at the church the plan to plant a church in Worcester, Massachusetts. And when I heard it, and so in my head, I thought, I'm not going to go. But I knew that wasn't the right heart. And so I prayed. I was like, God, if you really want me to go, then you have to make it very clear. Yeah. So at that point, we were married. We had bought a house in Lynchburg, and we had two kids at that point, two of our girls. But yeah, it just kept coming up. We'd see them again. So we'd be talking to them about things. When they brought it up in church service on a Sunday, it hit Jocelyn hard. And just the reality that, in Lynchburg, it's a different world. Like you said, it's a bubble. It's a Christian bubble where we would go to, if you go to Chick-fil-A during breakfast time, you'll see like 3 or 4 tables where people have their Bibles out. They're doing a Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
You go to, Starbucks, same thing. Like it's not an odd thing to see someone with their Bible or see them praying or whatever. And up here, obviously, it's just not that way.
Right.
So the reality, coming to terms with the fact that New England, even though it's a place that we had never been and never visited at all, we knew that it was a dark place and a place that needed people to come and help and share the gospel. And and it was kind of one of those things like, should we let our comfort keep us from going and doing something that needs to be done?
Right.
Not that we're going to save the world, or save New England, but there's a need there. And are we going to stop, let our nice house and our jobs and, all of that stop us from going? And the answer was no. Nothing was really going to hold us back. Yeah, so I started working up here in July 2018.
All right, awesome. So 9 people from Lynchburg, and the one guy who's sort of from up here, but they picked up and moved to follow Christ and help start a church with a kind of a unique city vision, right? That's awesome. Yeah. All right, so what you and I are going to talk about today is not that, although it flowed out of that, right? and there's still a connection to it.
Right. Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
mentioned early on when you were talking about, you talked about skateboarding, and then you talked about being able to work at camp and do skateboarding and talk about God.
So,
You moved from Lynchburg to Worcester really as part of carrying out the Great Commission of Christ, right? I mean, that's at the core of what you
yeah.
guys are doing and why you're here. So what in the world does skateboarding have to do with that?
I've been doing skateboard ministry for, around like 10 years. So I knew that was something that I was looking forward to. I was planning on in some form or another.
Right,
No.
there is a Great Commission connection here, right? So
Yes,
so
definitely.
let's
Yeah.
talk more about the specifics of what you think the Lord is leading you to do, or what you believe. Not that you think, you kind of know, right? You have a confidence about that. So, what are the specifics? What, when, where, how, anything
Yeah.
like that. Okay, so what are the specifics? Because that's what in this coming Sunday, March 28th, you're going to be with us, and that's what you'll be here for. So tell us about it. What's God put in your heart to do?
Yeah.